And welcome to episode 178 of Heresy Accountability Buddies. My name is Jack, and I talked over Brian because he was probably saying something hateful about somebody. So let's go ahead and kick over to my fellow host of...
Brian, the Canadian hater, I guess.
Oh my god.
Duncan, the just normal Duncan, I guess.
I guess Jamie, the unfortunate.
John, the angry.
And Jimothy, the raccoon.
And don't forget, who's the AI bot that we have?
Dave.
No, we don't have a
Dave.
Jimothy.
Dave.
Do y'all know what Jimothy is?
At home.
No, what's
Jimothy's a deformed raccoon.
Okay.
Out in Seattle. It's
like,
fantastic.
Is it like a roadside attraction in Kentucky or something like that?
He's
Was it that creepy raccoon with no neck?
Yes.
Yeah, that's him.
All back,
He
no
looks
neck.
like a squawk.
I don't know what he is, other than he was born with short spine syndrome or something like that, and therefore is set the internet on fire, and everybody likes it.
A Twitter.
I haven't seen it. I guess I've been living under a rock, but okay.
Okay.
I've been dealing more with the as we call them, the beach Karens, because of the low flyover at the Pensacola for the Blue Angels coming back home.
You aren't missing anything important.
Or you are. One to two.
Or I am.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm into weird raccoons.
But do you know what you're not
That
going to
wouldn't
miss?
surprise me.
This
Say it
segue
again?
to our sponsors. And
Do
thank
you
you
love
to our...
resin bases? Then go to our sponsor, Elric Hobbies, for all of your basing and basing accessory needs. Use code HERESYABB at checkout for a discount. Legendary Monument Hobbies. Monument Hobbies is a one-stop shop for all of your painting needs. Use code HERESYABB at checkout for a 5% discount on your purchase. Pop Goes the Monkey. Find maker of third-party accessory bits of arms, legs, backpacks, and more, where you can get 10% off your first order over $125 with code HERESYABB at checkout.
And thank you to our patrons. Without you, none of this would be possible. I should really create like a lower third that has like our patron link to it that people could see. But that would be close to professional.
That would be awesome.
Speaking of professional, hobby progress. Who wants to kick it off? I vote Brian because he did.
Brian.
Damn it, Jack. I worked a little bit more on the Zone Mortalis terrain, which we used in the event I went to yesterday. And I've also built and worked on some more Gundam models. And that's about the extent of my hobby progress.
Gundam style.
Oh, I didn't have the camera on. Y'all missed it. Sorry. I was doing the...
All right, who's next, bro?
Let's throw Jack under the bus.
Oh my gosh.
I
Dying laughing.
I worked on painting a stand-in Falchion, working on this different color schemes, seeing if there's anything that I want to update on the blues that I do from the Ultramarines, and laid some concrete today in the front of my house because I needed to repair part of my front step, and I didn't have a stroke because of the weather out. And then I kicked it over to Duncan because he's next to me.
Sure. Let's see here. This week I got the first multiple layers of blues down on 3 rhinos and a Kratos. Very happy about that. They're not anywhere even close to done. I still have more blues to get done.
How'd you arm the Kratos? I have to ask everybody because it's such a flexible tank.
Melta, last cannons, more last cannons, and another last cannon.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Other than that, I spent today dealing with a lawn care company coming out to look at ripping all the trees and bushes out of my yard. in the backyard, along my side yard, along my other side yard, and then going from that to around the back of the garage. I'm gonna pretty much rip all the extra trees that are now causing problems out of the area because I don't need them around the house or damaging gutters or interfering with power lines, things like that. And I'm doing it preemptively because if I don't, the city is likely to come by and say, "Hey, this tree is encroaching on the power line. You need to cut it down."
Isn't that what
Rather than,
girlfriends, boyfriends are for?
sure, or what a landscaping company who wants to do it is for. We had contracted with a friend of ours who we used to work with years and years ago, who was going to do it, but they started it and then they stopped doing anything, and then they kept promising they'd come back and do more, and then yesterday they promised that they would try, and I said, no, it's been 6 months since we started this with you all. We're not playing this game. We're done. I'm just going to go ahead and get some other people and give them the money I would have given you. So, fuck it. Other than that, been sitting around making lists for a couple other people, working on things for a few other bits and pieces here and there, and trying to understand overly wordy rules of nonsense. And then I turned it over to Jamie to see what hobby he did.
So, I've been building new Mark IIs, tactical squads, up to like 40 of them. I want to say 30 or it's 30 or 40. I can't remember what I'm up to. For my Iron Warrior army, and then I've got the I built the Rhino, one of the Rhinos out of the 4 I need for those, and then I also have built all the HQs like the Master Signals, the the Siegebreaker, and the what is the big War Master with the hammer, dude?
The Warsmith?
Warsmith, yeah. So basically, my core stuff that I needed for the army, it's built. So I'm gonna start branching out from there.
That's good.
That's where I'm at with that. I'll start working on some of the artillery and other stuff, the Terminators, shortly. They're in transit, and then I decided, just because of the cost and unsure when they're going to come out with them. Yeah, I'm going to end up printing the Bombards.
Makes sense. I mean, they're expensive.
They're really expensive, and like they're very long in the tooth, and like the kit wise. So like even if I got them, I'd probably be doing what John's been going through this week. So as a good segue, let's go to John.
Yeah, so this week I ran an event. So we had our usual bi-monthly event at New World Gaming in Frisco. We ended up with 9 people, so I ended up playing. I brought out my knights, and turn 1 of game 1, the Asterius shot and earned 10 victory points.
Okay, you're going to have to explain that.
Okay.
I don't quite follow what happened there for it to earn 10 victory points with 1 shot.
Yeah, so I was able to kill an entire squad of rapier batteries. So the first strike.
Yeah.
3 points. It was the guy that had the vow that gives me plus 2 points if he achieves first strike. So that's 5 points. They were on an objective. So I got 2 Vanguard points. And his Warlord was in the unit and died as well. So finally, the last 3 points. So 10 points.
Okay. That's a confluence of everything going off at once, but that's neat.
I've never gotten 10 points in a round with knights before.
Well, that's incredibly... I mean, it all works. I see where it happens. It's just I've never thought of it actually happening successfully at the same time. So, okay.
Yep. That was kind of my reaction too. He was like, that was like my warlord. I was like, oh really? And he's like, yeah. And they were on an objective. Oh, and then he kind of did the math. And I was like, oh well, shit. Okay. He still ended up winning by a lot. It was like 40-20, if that. It was a good game against Will. Second game was against Custodes. Their tanks are pretty good at popping knights. And they ended up pinning my Castigator on turn 1, and I couldn't auto repair him, and I lost the Battlesmith guy right next to him early on, so he got to sit the game out. And the fact that I don't have a lot of other AP2 weapons in a knight list kind of sucked. So he won that one as well.
Custodes tanks are good at pretty much everything.
Yeah, his list is, if I remember correctly, was like 3 of the heavy tanks, 3 of the light tanks.
The speeder ones?
Yep.
Okay.
Which are not terrible at popping knights either, because they're only on 13.
Right.
And then 2 big squads of sword and board, and 1 squad of the shooty guys from Legacies.
Okay.
But yeah, fun games had by all. During the week, my Zinj Industries order came in, so I was able to finish up the Vorax, and I got them all based and ready to wait for a few days for them to dry so I could put the UV resin in and finally finish off the last batch of Mechanicum. And they've fucking moved it on. And as I was working through it, I realized that whoever designed it is very much missing a lot of brain cells. So the way the floor went together was 3 pieces. You start with the centerpiece, and then the front and rear sections go on top of it, which is really bad for if you're trying to build a square tank, which the Mastodon is a giant square tank. And so I decided I was going to scratch build the front, like I said last time. And so I put the scratch building stuff together, and then I picked it back up for Wednesday, and it shifted again. So I heat gunned the hell out of it. And I put it back down and started working on other stuff. And then this weekend, I decided, okay, time to put those sides onto the insides. And so it shifted again. I don't know how it keeps moving. It's resin. It's not putty. It's not pliable. It's not stored funny. It's stored flat.
Hold on, John. Could you slow down for a second? I'm hearing a strange noise, and it seems to be emanating from the general Jack area. That has to do with a bit of his Jack-like laughter.
It might be Jack-like laughter. I told him not to put this evil on me.
I didn't come up with a list. I didn't come up with a list.
Meanwhile, John's over here going, "Why are my rounds square and my squares round?"
Yes. Yes.
Could you not pin it?
No.
No pinning.
Okay.
You cannot pin the box. The box is dumb. So I just gave up. I gave up. Jamie had sent me the Mastodon file a while ago, and so I literally punched the floor off.
With the hammer, right?
No, well, the hammer's later.
Oh, okay.
I was angry, and so I punched it, which removed the floors that I had installed. And I said, "Screw it! This thing is becoming terrain." And so I just said, "I don't care anymore. I want it done." And so I glued the front piece on so that I could at least shore up the doors, so the doors would look right. So as a terrain piece, it's still kind of a focal point of the model. And then I started hacking off everything else that wouldn't fit. Which was a lot of hacking going on to try to get the floors to fit.
Okay, I'm about to ask a strange question, and I'm not certain if this is going to go answer my own question or not.
It's not.
Approximately how many pieces is this thing in? Just for the hull assembly.
Like,
not all the bits.
Broken or...
No.
The hull assembly, there's 3 floor pieces. Then there's the 2 walls. On the walls, you glue 2 right side lights and a left side light. Then there are 3 or 4 support pieces that go on to support the roof. Then there's the hinge holders. There's an upper and lower hinge holder, and those are in 2 parts. Then there's they call them the piston cylinders are in 2 parts, and there's 4 of those. The door has 6 melta-guns built into it, and then those piston pieces are also an additional 2 pieces.
And didn't you add like real pistons though too?
No, I didn't do that. I pinned the pistons is all I did.
Okay, so just doing the hull assembly is a fair, decent amount of work. It's not a lot, but it's a decent amount of work.
That's just the interior, dude.
Oh. So, okay. Then there's the exterior hull.
Then you have the giant exterior hull, which is, by the way, if you haven't seen a Mastodon, is double tracked.
I have seen a Mastodon.
So you have to install the front and rear track links on both sides. And then there's a bunch of exterior gubbin crap that goes on top of it that's supposed to all line up with the pre-sculpted shit on top of it.
And I'm just wondering.
And there's also 2 interior walls that are supposed to keep this thing, I guess, from collapsing in on its own stupidity, or to help hold the floor, the interior up. I don't know. I'm not done, Duncan, because the command section on top is another 2 pieces, and it's made with enough resin. Each one of them could be its own fucking rhino. Okay? Then those 2 pieces mate together, and you have to push a ceiling, an interior ceiling into that part. And at that point, I gave up and got out a hammer.
This is so delicious.
John,
and I beat that bitch into submission, and it fit.
Okay. So that's when you made the entire hull fit because you hit it with a hammer.
No, that was just the interior ceiling. The hull kind of fits now.
Okay, so the reason I'm asking this is because what is the part of this that is making you give up? Because it sounds like you've already done all the hard work.
You should see the gap.
Yeah,
I saw the picture of the gap. I'm just curious as to what part of this made you officially say, fuck it. Because
the floor.
To be honest, I'd have said fuck it a long time ago. Yeah. And you obviously have more patience than I do.
So all I'm going to say is thank you, John, for dissuading me from buying one. I guess I will end up having to print it.
Yeah.
Not that we would encourage people to 3D print obstinate models that are terrible.
Absolutely encourage anybody to 3D print a Mastodon over buying it.
How many did you start, Jack?
Oh, I started and finished one. Thanks for playing.
Yeah, but I thought you had parts of it that you had to print 3 times because you'd leave it on your printer. Or something.
No, that was a different model. The Mastodon was the one that I would get together and get so far, and I walk away because of life, and then I would come back and somehow it had unconfigured itself.
Mm-hmm. It does that in a day, Jack.
It does that on its own. They're cursed.
Now here's the weird part. I never cut myself on it.
No, you haven't sacrificed bodily fluids to it.
Maybe that's the reason this bastard isn't going together so easily.
Machine Spirit is angry at you.
That's exactly the problem. The blood sacrifice was not met, John. How dare you?
This is starting to sound somewhat concerning. It sounds like because you have not bled on this or for this, that it's not going to work with you. And it's only going to work
with you. There were many times where I'm like, this is dangerous. I'm cutting wonky. Because after I punched the floor off, some of it stayed on. And so I had to go in and hack it out and sand it out and Dremel it out. And then sanding the floor beams to fit. And yeah, it was. So in reality, could I finish this with a tub of putty? Probably. Would I be happy with it? No. So I think it has a date with a high caliber weapon and a bunch of dead word bearer bodies that I have in my big box.
So, from your experience with this, as a whole, would you call this the single most frustrating GW kit you have ever tried to assemble?
Yep. Easily.
John, the lengths of hate that you have put yourself through on this to create a single-use meme list is probably one of my favorite things this year, without joking.
I didn't have this much trouble building 60 Sentinels.
Yep. I'm so proud of you, John.
It was longer duration, but a lot less frustration.
I'm proud of you, John. I'm sure that Erebus will be proud of you as well.
Well, he's getting the transport because it's becoming terrain.
Okay. So, is there anything else hobby-wise that you need to tell us to get off your chest and alleviate some of your stress?
Yummy.
That was the main things that I've accomplished this week for hobby stuff.
So delicious.
Well, I want to congratulate you, John. You've encouraged me enough that now I want to get a Mastodon.
For your Sons of Horus.
No,
I've already contacted Andrew. I sent him the files, and he's like, "What do you want this by?" I was like, "Whenever you can get it done." I'm not in a big rush because, first of all, it's so huge. I can't prime it outside because of the heat. It'll just dry half the thing while the other half is still waiting. So I'm gonna have to prime it inside, which means I'm gonna have to do it in stages. Otherwise, I'm gonna smoke myself out of the house again.
Okay.
Yeah.
I, for one, look forward to hearing more stories about your Mastodon exploits.
So I did say how I finally got mine to stay mostly together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Two-part epoxy and a lot of it. So much. I got high off of two-part epoxy.
Tupac.
I don't like using two-part epoxy because I can't break off things as easily.
No.
Okay.
It was staying together, and I wasn't asking.
If I knew it was permanent, I probably would have been okay with two-part epoxy. But about the only squareness I got out of the entire thing was after I glued all the tracks on, it sat flat. So I didn't have to sand the tracks to make it sit flat. That was the only saving grace on this thing. I heat gunned it so much that one of the interior walls cracked trying to get it into place.
So, do you have what type of
impressive.
heat gun are you using, first of all?
Do what?
Or what type of heat gun are you using? Like one
No,
of the
Harbor
hot
Freight.
ones?
It's too big for the sand bed.
Okay.
So what other hobby did you do, John, other than making my day?
That's it, Jack.
Okay.
I did this all for you.
You know what? Watching somebody else suffer with that mother warms the cackles of my heart. It really, really, truly does.
I'm so glad. So glad.
So you want to get into the news so I can rant again?
Yes,
Sure.
please. I'm sure there'll be some Starforged jewelry for Jack.
I hope not.
There actually is.
Son of a bitch.
Yay.
So this week we saw the drops of all the Titan weapons for Legions Imperialis. If you want just the weapons themselves, you've got to order them online.
Ooh.
We're looking at $35 for the Reaver weapons and $53 for the Warlord weapons, and they're broken up into two different sets.
How much are the Warlords usually now? Because I know they went up like significantly in price from when they were, you could get the starter box with two of them for less than like one of them essentially now. Ooh, it's out too, isn't it?
Yeah, the diorama book apparently sold out. I don't even know if it was available in the U.S. Most of the times they're not. They just put the image on there to make us feel bad.
This is what
Let me buy them from
not living with us.
From eBay scalpers.
Next week, we're seeing the drop of the Kill Team Exodites we saw in the preview.
Oh boy! The terrain,
the pre-painted terrain is going to start coming up for pre-order. The Kill Team Guardsman Spectre Squad is coming up for pre-order. They're reboxing all the other Kill Teams. I was looking at bits for some of the Guard stuff or Solar Rock stuff we discussed, and the R-Beat box was gone from the website, and so now it's coming back. And then all the Mark IV stuff's going to start coming out. So we've got the Mark IV Tactical Squad, the Mark IV Assault Squad,
and the shotties,
and these things.
I think people are more excited about that weapon upgrade kit, the combi weapon and the shotguns than they are the Mark IV.
Is this the only combi upgrade kit that they've done in plastic?
Yes.
That explains.
Well, that's not entirely true. There's a couple sprues that have like some combi weapons, but not like that level.
The only real one available right now outside of this is there's 2 combi disintegrators on the disintegrator sprue.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have observations about this.
Please, enlighten.
I do like the fact that we will not have to worry about sights on this being done wrong, because there's no way you can look down the sight.
Duncan.
Yes, John.
Hold that thought, okay?
Oh God.
I have the release article pulled up, and I want to go in depth with these stupid guns.
Okay. I will hold my thoughts to myself. Other than the fact that the shotguns are ugly.
Well, they actually have a sight rail.
I'm coming. I'm coming.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
During the week, we saw the release of another Black Book. So we've got the Oathbound Vassals of the Household of the Mechanicum, so the night stuff.
Yeah.
Yay.
Which is good. It was a good...
It is.
Yeah.
It's a good read.
Yep. And during the week, as I kind of alluded to a little earlier, obviously, we got the preview for the Horus Heresy Combat Weapons.
Which came out of left field, like...
Yeah, it was really weird, first off, seeing them come out. Second, I don't know why we've decided to switch to the fact that the bolt gun now has less ammo than the combi weapon. I thought the combi weapon was the one-shot part. Looks like you've got an extra round in this magazine for the Volkite, which is the only one that can fire twice. Why do they all have a bolt action bolt on them?
Words.
And like you said, we don't have to worry about sights. I mean, we never really did to begin with, but there's no rear sights at all. There's a front sight post, but it's blocked by the magazine. You would have thought they would have offset it, like the Bren or something. And then you look at the shotguns.
Isn't it a Bachet that the one that the really bad French assault or French belt fed?
Oh yeah, the choke shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the explanation. There is a Japanese LMG from World War II where you literally would see through the magazine as the bullets were dropping down in order to get sights through.
Nice.
That's what they're doing.
Oh, so this isn't a witness window, it's a sight.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then we look at the shotguns. The shotguns are both mag-fed and tube-fed.
Yes.
And there's 2 different patterns of shotguns in the box.
So I guess they're taking lessons from the crazy Turkish shotgun manufacturers.
Never mind the safety selector being way up there. We'll ignore those.
No,
why is these drums so much higher than the single-handed drum?
I think I can explain that one.
Is also...
This is a legitimate thing.
Okay.
And it's also bolt action.
Explanation. And I think the legitimate explanation is it's science fantasy, not science fiction, and they don't employ gun designers to actually make certain that things would work. Nor do they employ physicists who would actually be able to explain why this stuff is bad.
Like they used to.
Don't let reality rain on our parade. No matter how much I'm in agreement that this is bad, and these look ridiculous. Anyway.
So I will admit, Duncan, you're partially right. This is the same company that brought us this monstrosity.
I love how it's got a belt And a drum.
And a drum.
Yep.
Yeah. Although, if I take them out being pedantic, I do have a legitimate gripe about the sprue that we're getting. If you go back to the actual combi weapons, so we're getting 60 accessories, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there are 15 different types of accessories. There are what, 6 different types of combi weapon in this?
5? The
Okay, sure.
disintegrators.
There's 4 combi weapons. There's combi melta, combi plasma, combi volkite, combi flamer. So we're missing combi grenade and technically combi disintegrator, even though you get 2 on the disintegrator sprue.
Right.
Sure. So wouldn't it have made sense then to make 10 bolter pouch with an attached flame canister, so you could have, the right weapons and the right ammo replacement for the combi flamer? 10 of those, 10 for the volkite, 10 for the plasma, 10 for the melta. That way you've used 40 of them, and then you can make stuff for the other ones. Instead, we get a random selection of 15 different bits, and
Might I interject?
we get 4 of each of those bits total for 60 total. It doesn't make sense.
It also doesn't have a combi bolter.
Yeah.
The combi bolter.
Yeah, the combi bolter, the combi grenade launcher, and the combi disintegrator, and the sniper rifle are the main weapons that we're still missing. So I guess that's the next box, or I would have thought that you would have put shotguns and sniper rifles in one box. Call it
For
a day.
recon squads, yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And what's weird is, I think you pointed this out, Duncan. If you want to build a vet breacher squad from the fancy new book,
Oh, you got to get
you're buying a few of these boxes.
Yeah.
Any idea how much these boxes are going to cost?
Probably $37 to $40, like the other ones. If I would have to guess.
Fucking baby Jesus.
Yeah, that'd be my guess. Is these are
That's
cost
usually
as much as
in
the
that
heavy
right.
weapons
They're
set.
usually like that $37 to $45 range, depending on
Jesus
the size of the sprue.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like heavy weapons, specialist weapons, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'd say probably about the same as what Jamie said.
Yep.
So anyway, that's my legit complaint, or what I feel is a legitimate complaint. Carry
Yep.
on.
A little more information about the Warhammer Academy that's coming up. They're gonna gamify learning inside the app.
Oh, we get to earn like trophies and what do you call them from Xbox?
Yeah, you're gonna get your own rewards for this. They're gonna save your progress between logins, which, wow, we're finally in 2020, guys. Thanks. Okay, so let's give Jack a heart attack.
No.
Oh God, here we go.
That special time of the week.
So
$291 fucking dollars?
Oh, good God.
okay, listen. The reason we
No.
bring up Starforged and other things on this podcast is to try to save everybody money. If you go to Starforged and buy this necklace, it is $188.
That's not what the sign.
If you go to GW merch and buy this necklace, it is an extra $110.
Shit.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Oh my gosh. That's yeah.
On top of the fact that they often sell out of the more popular pins and things like that, and you have to wait for them to restock, but Starforge seems to keep better stock things. That's kind of why I try to cover some of the other weird things that we have in the podcast. It's just very insane to me that GW is like, oh, well, I mean, we've got the license for it and they're selling it, but now we want more money. Never mind the fact that recasters have already got a hold of this thing, and for $8 you can get something that looks pretty close.
Yeah, but probably turns your neck like 13 different shades of green, purple, and
Oh yeah,
causes
I
necrosis.
always replace the actual necklace part of your necklaces if you're buying them from China.
Sure.
Because it ain't white gold, that's for sure.
Warhammer merch also dropped some new Joy toys, so we've got some 40K releases that might work in Heresy. The Raven Guard, Aethon Shan, Space Wolf, Wolf Priest, and Black Legion Master of Possession, which would be good for a word bearer. And then Black Templar's Crusader. They got the nightlight for Jack for $291 now.
Jesus.
Yeah, that sounds like something Jack would.
Protect me.
Victoria Miniatures, I know they're doing their Kickstarter, but she's also starting to release some of the parts separately on her website. So we've got their heavy weapons teams are already available on the website, as well as some of their ratlings, which would work good for Solar Rock Scouts.
Isn't her Kickstarter for the STLs of the files?
Yeah.
And these are her actually selling the actual miniatures, not the STL.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually she waits till after the STLs come out to sell their resins, though.
Okay.
This Kickstarter isn't so much for us, but it's kind of a company to keep your eye on. This is called the Game Station Immersive Battle Mats for Wargaming. All of their battle mats are cut for 40K and kill team sizes, but another battle mat game company out there, we could pressure them into making 6x4 like normal people, might be able to get some more battle mats out there.
Some of these are pretty neat looking.
Did they say how much they cost?
One skirmish mat, which is 34x22, is $35. They even go up and have retailer scale.
Yep.
So retailer scale, 10 60x44 mats, 14 terrain markers, 3D terrain set, $1,200.
Why don't you drop them a line and tell them to make them Heresy size and that during the Kickstarter?
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to reach out to them probably after this. I like the ones that look like a
the shore,
like this Aquila one. They look like a royal
like,
palace room or something.
Yeah. I like that shore one.
Yeah, the shore one, the kind of bombed out looking Mars terrain, the buggy one, the foggy city. There's a really nice artwork that would look really cool on that.
You know, the one thing that I've actually been wondering for a long time is why people don't make these mats and then put a photorealistic thing of real terrain on there. Like, we've got satellite images of the entire world. I'm sure we can find a wreckage dump area somewhere and superlay that over a 6x4 mat, print that, and then make that available as a gaming mat. I just don't see why people don't do that.
You would probably upset whoever you took pictures of and called it a dump.
Okay,
and if you took pictures of someone's living places, it would be the Streisand effect / doxing them.
I look at it as the same way as like why you paint like if you went and stole a branch from your tree and put it on your base and you still paint it, because it's this where it's doesn't look like it's in the right scale. Even if we resize it, it would just look off to me if you took a realistic photo and slapped it on a map. Like that one right there that John is showing right there with the creek. That's just like throwing my OCD like off. Like it looks too something. Like
it looks very Van Gogh or that guy that paints the dots.
The pointillism.
Yeah, it breaks the immersion for me.
Okay,
fair enough. I mean, some of them I really like. I mean, I thought they looked pretty good.
Like
they've got some cool ones in there
that John likes. I thought that would be really good, like as like a flag or something.
Yeah, and even getting that as a tiny mat, so that way you could have like a little game inside of a throne room or something.
Okay.
USA Gundam Store is running a 20% off sale until July 26th. So if you're looking for ammo chains or expensive nippers or things like that, it's a good place to get them. And then Pro-Acryl has announced that they're going to finally be dropping Wave 2 of all of their one-step paints at Gen Con. Obviously, they previewed Rust at Adepticon, but they've also previewed a few more colors. So we've got dark purple, scarlet red, dark brown, yellow green, and that's it for them.
Aren't they doing a dark brown, a dark green blue, a bright slate green, a yellow green, a deep blue, a bronze yellow, a dark
these are the only ones that I've got separate pictures of.
Yeah, I mean, They've already been using them on their
Mhm.
daily live feeds, paint and stuff. But the ones that they've actually announced,
Yeah.
those are the ones that are out. And then Rust, that was the one from Adepticon.
Yeah.
I want to get
So
a
if
hold
you
of their
look at
black.
I want to get a hold of that purple. Because that purple doesn't look purple to me.
Yeah, that dark purple looks nice, and then the scarlet red would be
Yep.
good for some people.
That would be good for, that Scarlet Red, I think, would be really good color.
Yep, I think that scarlet red would do well for a lot of things, but I really like that deep purple or dark purple because I think that would do really well for anyone painting a blue army unwillingly.
See,
Night Lords, what?
Yeah.
Yes,
got
yes, great for Night
One
Lords.
more vaguely related piece of news.
Sure, have at it.
The algorithm loves to feed us schlop, and a lot of Facebook AI ads have been popping up lately. You've probably seen the Space Marine Decanter AI ad, and it looks really cool. Someone in one of the Facebook groups finally bit the bullet. This is what it looks like.
I'd never seen that.
For those listening who are not able to see this, this looks like the very first painted miniature helmet that somebody who was 13 and just learning to paint miniatures painted.
It looks
does
like
not look.
it looks like it came out of a kiln. Like,
Well,
It's
it looks like he
plain.
put something in it and he froze it.
oh, I know that, but I'm saying like the color patterns on the
Bad.
top half look like it's something that it was like a piece of clay someone glazed and came out of a kiln.
Yeah, the coloration, the paint on it does not look good.
No.
And that picture, as you said, that it's frosted. They pulled it out of something's in it from the freezer. And you gotta like the top. It's not straight and all that. The canter top.
It almost looks like it was painted with markers.
It does. Or my kids, like they probably had like little small children paint it, knowing that it came from like Temu or something like that.
So here is an idea of what one of these ads looks like. I can't find a Warhammer one, but this is what one looks like. They're usually way overdone.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And what you're going to end up getting is something like we saw there, where it's going to have stickers for the branding stuff, and then probably this will be, in this instance, a Marine Corps decanter. You'll probably get a basic top and then a sticker here for the Marine Corps emblem and things like that. So just be careful if you're getting all these cool ads for things. 90% of the time now on Facebook, half the ads now are just AI slop. You'll get some Temu piece of crap and it'll come in and break.
Which sounds about normal.
And then if you try to get it replaced or repair it, it costs more to ship it back than it was to buy it.
Yeah, or the company will go out of business before it gets to you, and you can't return it anyway.
You can't return it anyway, yep.
Right. So is that the end of all the stuff?
That is all the news, gentlemen.
So, there were events this weekend, right?
Yeah, I had my event, and Ryan had his event.
Brian, have you told us about your event yet?
It was not my event. It was Charlie's event.
Oh. Okay. Well, do you have anything you would like to say about the event?
It was a really good time. Y'all should have been there.
There's smoke up
I'm
in
not-
the air.
What the
There's like
smoke,
explosive lettuce diarrhea up in Michigan. I don't want that in my life.
Listen, I've already smoked like 6 packs of Canadian Wildfire, which actually tastes like burning plastic.
Oh, it tastes like maple, like smoked maple.
No.
Oh, God, no.
Oh. Well, that's unfortunate.
No, not at all. Charlie hosted a really fun Zone Mortalis event yesterday at Far Harbor Games in Grand Rapids. I played in round 1 as a ringer because unfortunately Friday my face started to hurt really bad. Not quite sure what's going on, but I feel like it's wildfire related. I've got sinus problems, and I think it just aggravated things. But
Sounds
I
legit.
played a game with, I believe his name is Mark. He came to the event I ran in Lansing here a couple months back. He brought a really cool Shattered Legions army that he's still working on painting. They're looking fantastic so far. I ran my Death Guard, and we had a really fun game with a whole lot of weird shenanigans. Just totally bizarre moments that you can't even make up. At one point, my Praetor was soloing 2 Dreadnoughts at the same time. Both of them had power fists, and I just was stabbing them to death with critical strikes on my Paragon blade. It was pretty wild. The missions he made were custom missions that were kind of inspired from the new book. The second round, which I didn't play in, he had blip counters and did the blip thing that are out of the new rules. And that was actually really interesting to watch. Traders ultimately took the day. In fact, only one game in each round was won by a loyalist player, and I think we had 12 people playing. One of which was a Dark Angels player in round 1, and in round 2 it was the militia player. And the militia player, I believe, brought Ogrins as well as cavalry. So it's a pretty wild list.
Okay. Anything else about it?
I believe Hutch, one of the guys that's local to the area, got one of the Accountabilibuddies Hobby Achievement Awards. And I don't remember who the other person was.
Okay.
But it's a good time.
Cool.
I've already seen pictures of the banner that I drug out there and unfurled to represent the podcast on social media, so that was cool.
Nice. I saw a picture of that. I can't remember who shared it. I think it was you who shared it. I saw that and I was like, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, I found it randomly doom scrolling Facebook earlier. I'm not even in the group that it was posted in, but Facebook is stalkery like that.
These things happen. I'm not gonna get out of doing this tonight, am I, John?
No,
No, I didn't think so.
no, you're not.
I was really hoping I was going to be able to get out of doing this tonight.
What, flyer?
Ah! You had to say the word. You had to say the word. I don't want to do this.
Well, I will say that our patron and New Year, New Army winner, Andrew, was at my event, and he brought out his militia that he's been working on and teamed up with the Ultramarines that he's been working on.
How'd they look?
They are really, really cool in person.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. And as I said, I'm not going to get out of doing this. So, you want to talk about flyers?
I do want you to teach me about flyers because I don't understand how they work.
Explain to the masses, please.
So, let me preface this by saying I don't play flyers right now. I might be tempted to at some future point, but currently, at this point in the edition, I am not focusing on playing flyers. So, a flyer is a thing that has these wings and an engine and stuff in the middle that the wings and the engine attached to. And it goes vroom, and sometimes it goes beep and crashes.
Sometimes it goes boom.
Sometimes it goes boom in the air. Sometimes it goes daka 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 and shoots things on the ground. And sometimes it poops out little doodads onto the ground. And sometimes,
I have a correction.
if it's a type of a flyer,
They don't have wings.
this is also true. But I'm using generalistics here, or generalization here.
Hey,
And sometimes
even the assault ram and the Arvis have wings. They may be stubby, but they have wings.
yes. And sometimes they can even pick doodads off the ground to help them escape from bad situations on the battlefield.
Half the drop pods are now flyers, guys.
Yes. Yeah, okay.
Or Finn.
Flyers are a specific subtype that is very misunderstood. I will be the first to say I don't understand them as well as I should. I don't intend to learn to use them very much right now because I just don't find their rules appealing. And I find one aspect of the flyer game right now personally offensive. This is just my opinion, so please take that with a giant grain of salt.
I can guess
First
what
thing.
part you find offensive, which I find hilarious.
Please do.
Is it a special reaction they have?
Nope, it is not.
Okay. Is it
The
the
part
fact
that I've heard.
Okay, go ahead.
No, after you take your guess.
Is it the fact that they can come in, save a unit, and then fly it away, and you don't
Nope.
get to kill it?
Nope.
I might know it.
Go ahead, Jamie.
Is it they can only
Nope.
do? No.
Nope. Nope. If it has to do with anything about their rules, no. The part that I find personally offensive is that typically, from my experience, people put a humongous amount of work into their flyers. You paint it, you make it look phenomenal because you know it's a large model, it's going to be a centerpiece, people are going to be looking at it. So you want to put extra effort into it to make it look awesome. You paint up a Thunderbolt, it's going to look amazing if you put it on the table.
Oh shit! I mean, like, yeah, I have a Thunderhawk that I've had since 2007.
Exactly.
Since 2007 has LEDs in it, sound system, interior lighting, and everything.
Yep.
It's all fully magnetized. Literally, and I am not shitting you, has never seen the game table ever.
Okay, so currently in this edition, here's my concern, and this is my big gripe. You have this flyer that you have put all this work into to be a centerpiece on the table, and its sole function is to fly on, rest in one position during your movement phase while you extract somebody, movement phase while you deploy somebody, shooting phase while you shoot it, and then be removed from the table until your next turn.
Huh?
It doesn't stay on the table. It doesn't create a great visualization. And that is my big problem with flyers right now, is that they don't get to remain on the table and provide a nice looking centerpiece to a table.
The scale of the game is not conducive for non-hovering flyers.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
But we've had flyers for 2 editions previous to this, so we still have them. They just don't stay on the table. And that's literally my only gripe, that you don't leave it on the table.
It literally zooms on, does its thing, and zooms off.
Yep. So flyers being a flyer, it does not interact with terrain. Unless you have some weird hokey rules of like floating mines or floating islands at an event, or you and your compatriots who are playing have come up with, they will never interact with the actual flyer model or the flyer stand. You just can't end up in impassable terrain or on a terrain feature or on a building. Other than that, terrain means nothing to the flyer. You can never engage the flyer in close combat. Fairly obvious, you're not going to be jumping up and swinging your sword to hit it. Strangely enough, that doesn't work. You can never make a reaction with a flyer because the flyer is, well, you cannot make a reaction with the flyer because it does not remain on the table. There is a specific reaction to flyers that allows another flyer to come in and intercept it, but that is different. Also, you can never put a status on a flyer, and you can never do glancing hits to flyers. If you meet their armor, you just put a hull point on there. You don't ever roll on the vehicle damage chart. They also all have one hull armor value all around. So if it's a 12 on the front, it's a 12 on the rear and the sides. That's the way it is. When you are rolling and you have flyers, from turn 1, you get to choose them coming in. You do have to roll. For each flyer you have on turn 1, it's a 3-up to bring the flyer on. For each time that the flyer has successfully made it onto the table, in subsequent turns, you add +1 to bringing them onto the table again. At any point after the first bring on, You can say, nope, I'm done bringing the flyers, and you can remove it from the game as the actual player of the flyer. It does not count as destroyed in that way. It just doesn't have any further interactions with the actual table. To bring it on, there are 4 types of missions that you have to declare to bring it on. If it is a transport, you can bring it in as a drop mission to land models that are embarked upon it. Obviously, you can never have more models than can be embarked on it by its actual maximum capacity for transport. And that goes for the same for bulky. If it cannot take bulky 10, you cannot load bulky 10 onto it. We all understand how this works by now for transportation. You can do an extraction mission, which is where you go up to a unit that has lets you recover from tactical statuses, and you grab them and you remove them from the table, and then you bring them back in on a subsequent turn. You then have the strike mission, and you have the strafing mission, and I'll go into these a little bit further later. And there's an advanced reaction that allows another player to bring a flyer that has the intercept rule on to shoot your flyer when your flyer comes on. That would be their reaction for the flyers. And that is a combat air patrol advanced reaction targeting your flyer that was brought into play from aerial reserves and triggered the reaction. It costs 1 point from the reaction allotment. Once it's declared, you must select 1 unit that is aerial reserve and is composed entirely of models with the interceptor trait. Obviously, if you have an interceptor, you're going to use that one. Then the target model has to complete their move in full. So they get moved, they have their combat assignment, they get placed on the table. But if they're disembarking stuff or picking stuff up, this happens before they disembark them.
Where does it get placed on the table?
So I'll get to that part in a moment. It's after they complete their movement. Okay, so they come on, and each of the missions have this specifically lays out how they come on. But once they have moved their model onto the table, the aerial model you're bringing in from reserve, the intercepting model comes in from your player edge, anywhere on your player edge, straight forward towards the actual model coming on. Once it's done, the reactive player then makes a single shooting attack with the reacting unit, which is the interceptor, that must target the target unit. Once that's done, the reacting unit, the interceptor, flies off. So you come on, you make 1 shooting attack, and you fly off, and you don't interfere with the mission any further. Now, if the thing somehow, if your flyer you're coming in with is destroyed, then it's done its job. If it's not, it's just taken a whole point or not done anything because my dice suck or your dice suck and you roll 1s. Looking at you, Brian, our friend. I'm sorry. These are how these things go. The combat missions are as follows. Drop mission. When you give it something, the drop mission, it must be placed anywhere along the edge of the battlefield edge that is within the controlling player deployment zone. So let's just assume you're playing hot dog anywhere on your long edge. Technically, from my understanding, it's also anywhere on your short edges that make it part of your deployment zone. Then it moves straight forward. The maximum movement during the movement phase, model with the drop mission be selected must be moved up to the number of inches equal to its movement characteristics straight forward without turning. At this point, John, the combat air patrol can be declared by the reactive player from the reserve for their intercept. Once that's done, any units embarked on a model that has been assigned a drop mission may disembark as normal. The model assigned for the drop mission uses the edge of the base, not the hull, as the access point. So you've got the flyer stand. The flyer stand moves on. It doesn't get reacted to. Your guys then will deploy from there and then come on.
I'm going to interrupt a little bit. My question was where it came on the board, so making sure that we could come on the little short edges on Dawn of War deployments.
My understanding is you can.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
I was just making sure that we pointed that out.
I don't know what good that's going to do people.
It gives you a little extra movement room.
With a flying stand base, I feel like it doesn't give you shit. It's like, oh, I get to come in from this edge, and then I get to go straight.
Yeah.
You get to go. I mean, if you think about the angles, you can pretty much hit most of the table when you look at it that way.
You can
The other
hit
thing
most of
that
the
you can
table
use-
coming in from the long edge.
Considering their movements are typically fairly good and fairly large, kind of can.
You kind of
definitely cross. You can cross definitely most of the no man's land.
The other thing I wanted to bring up was there is a fortification that kind of helps with this is the landing pad. If your base can make it within 3 inches of the landing pad, you can deploy onto the landing pad. So you get a little extra room. The problem is obviously the fact that the landing pad has to be deployed more than 12 inches away from an enemy deployment zone. So it doesn't help a lot in a Dawn of War type mission, but it might help in one of the table quarter type deployment missions.
Who's bringing a landing pad?
I would personally never bring a landing pad unless I also was bringing some quad mortars and maybe an armless warhound on top of it.
Void
Obviously.
shield generators. You forgot the void shield generators.
I thought those were just kind of left
Default.
as it naturally said,
No,
because they are part of the model
Yeah.
on the base of the Titan.
you're right.
Yeah,
And the Raven Guard and Thousand Suns
quad mortars.
contention dreadnoughts. They don't have any weapons on them. Yep.
I just wanted to point it out. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not
You're
saying
right.
it's broken, but I'm just saying that the one thing that can change the movement of a flyer is that. And the only thing that affects their reserves, because they're not normal reserves, they're called aerial reserves,
Right.
Yeah.
is Lotara, who only gets it once, and Ventanus, who gets it all the time.
Yep. So the next thing that be noticed with this is then you can deploy out. And you deploy out as normal. So if this is an assault vehicle, John, can you deploy out and then assault?
Yes, you can charge out of normal reserves. We did mess that up last show.
Yeah, and I wanted to have that brought up here.
Yeah,
So
I was going to bring it up
technically-
later at the end that you can also charge out of elevators as well.
Yep.
Because it's a normal reserves. The
So we were wrong.
VM book is actually pretty good. It calls out when you can't charge out of the special type of reserves.
So this you could fly on with your Thunderhawk, deploy your dudes forward, and then charge. It is possible.
John
If you
Stanford has been doing a lot of weird math with the size of a Thunderhawk, the size of a table, and coming in from the short sides, trying to see if you could assault someone on turn 1 in their backfields.
I'm not surprised knowing Stanford. But again, this is the drop mission is done so you are dropping dudes off. You can fire weapons, but only weapons that are defensive weapons when you do this on this mission. The extraction mission is pretty much the exact same thing with the exact same rules, except in the movement phase, you select it, then you move it, and any eligible model that's has all of its models within 2 inches of where the actual the flyer has moved to can get embarked upon the model, can get embarked upon the flyer, doing the extraction mission. Even, and this is important, even if it has a tactical status that knocks you out from being able to do embarkations or movement or things to that effect. Basically, it flew on there, picked you up, and then you fly off. Any part of the base, the flyer base, can be used as an access point, but all models in that unit and attached to that unit must be within 2 inches. If you're not, you can't embark. So that's something to remember. When you are embarked upon it, when you then leave the actual field, you will have to come back in later. That should be without saying. Shooting, it can again also in this one only fire defensive weapons, and then the model assigned to the extraction model is removed from play, returned to area reserve. Any units embarked upon it remain embarked while it is in area reserve, but any tactical statuses are removed. So they clear tactical statuses for free. If you need this guy, these guys who are over here, deployed over to there, and there's 24 inches in between, you know that can't happen. You could pick him up with your flyer, and take him over there next turn if you make your successful flyer reserve roll. It's a way of doing it. It's air mobile cav. It works if you want to do it. Mission number 3 is strike mission. This one I think is kind of wonky. Again, you come in with your regular way you've been deploying in. You move in a straight line equal to your movement characteristics, straightforward, again, without turning. And then in the shooting phase, I'm going to read this specifically. A model that has been assigned a strike mission can make shooting attacks, but may only make attacks with weapons that have the centerline arc of fire or the guided missile trait. Attacks made with a weapon that has the centerline arc of fire must be made as snapshots unless another rule or special rule dictates it. At the end, then you fly off.
So it would be the Thunderhawk and the Storm Eagle and the Xiphon?
And the Thunderbolt and other things. Anything that has a guided missile.
But I'm saying, do they have does the Thunderbolt have centerline?
Yeah,
So
the
it
last
does.
cannons and autocannons do.
Yep. And they also have access to the guided missiles.
The Fire Raptors ball turrets don't count. But
Right.
the chain gun does.
The fire, yeah, the chain gun does, and then like the Xiphon, it has the missile launcher on the center line, and then the Thunderhawk has the main gun, be it the battle cannon or the.
Is that centerline or is that turret?
I thought that was center line. Let me look.
Do that.
The main gun is center line.
But it's also got las cannons and it's also got 6 missiles on it too.
Okay, so all the centerline guns can fire, but they only fire snapshots, and the only thing that fires regular shots, full ballistic skill, are guided missiles. Which is why I don't really quite understand this one.
No,
it's odd.
It's the centerline turbo laser destruct for the Thunderhawk and 6 centerline mounted Hellstrike missiles. Everything else is sponson mounted.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Jack, you beat me to it by about that much.
Well, the last cannons are considered hull front mounted.
They're not centerline.
Yep, which is weird.
Yep, so they wouldn't be able to fire it.
Well, they're also on movable pivots too. I mean, they only go up and down, but yeah.
So
that's why this is the mission that I don't really see a lot of people thinking about using, as opposed to strafing run, which is the 4th mission.
Yeah.
In the moving phase, again, you must move no more than half your movement characteristics in any direction. At that point, you can get intercepted. In the shooting phase, assigned strafing run can make shooting attacks with any weapons you have, and then you go back out. It doesn't say only centerline. It doesn't say only ball turrets. Every gun you have that you are eligible to shoot, at any ballistic skill you have available, you can fire it whatever you like, depending on the rules of what you have available to shoot. That's the big one, but you can only move half when you fire it. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to use strike mission unless you really need the extra range from your movement. Because with the strafing run, you only move half.
The time I see using it would probably be if you had a Marauder. Because for some reason, the bombs are considered centerline. So you could shoot further than you're flying with those.
You can fire the bombs on... Yeah, because they are... That doesn't make a lot of sense, but okay.
No, it doesn't. But they got rid of the whole bombing run and nearly unlimited movement that flyers had. So I think that's how they tried to correct it.
Yeah, and that's the flyer rules in a little bit more than just a nutshell, but not a complete me sitting here reading all the rules.
I mean, there's a couple of them that do make sense, but like...
I like the disembarkation and embarkation ones.
So, like, the whole thing about using a Thunderhawk or a Storm Eagle is it's supposed to be a gunship. So, basically, it comes in, it clears the landing zone, deploys its troops, and then clears the landing zone for them disembarking, like an assault vehicle, and then leaves.
So, yes, that is what...
Neither one of them can do that anymore.
That is correct. If you are not on the disembark, you cannot fly in, drop your troops. If you are on strike run or strafing run, or strafing run or strike mission, you cannot disembark troops.
Right. Like it.
And you also can't pick dudes up.
Right. Like
so, it's a gun mission. That's it. Gone are the days that it could come in, drop dudes, and then unleash hell.
Which, I mean, like, and no, I mean, some of them are fair. The Xiphon, the Thunderbolt, the Avenger, the Lightning, they're not horribly expensive. I mean, 100 to 200 points for most of them. But, I mean, like, you start getting into, equipped out Fire Raptor or a Thunderhawk, or even, God forbid, the Stormbird.
Yep.
You're talking, like, thousands of points, and it literally can't do what it's intended to do.
You are correct. Flyers in this current rule set are very odd in the way they work. And one thing I'm going to make note of that did strike me as a bit odd, and that is the rules specifically laid out for aerial reserves and them coming in. I'm going to read this. Aerial reserves are rolled for during the movement phase as part of the reserve subphase, starting on the first turn of the battle. For a model with the flyer subtype that has not previously been brought into play, this reserve roll has a target number of 3+. The target number increases by 1 to a maximum of 6+ each time the model returns to aerial reserves after having been deployed onto the battlefield. So I bring, let's just say somehow I'm crazy and I brought 5 flyers to a game.
Mm-hmm.
I could technically bring all 5 flyers on with different combat missions in turn 1.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But if I fail any of them, that flyer would then roll the next turn on a 3+, whereas the others who successfully came in would then come in on a 4+. So it makes kind of stacking which ones are which is going to be a little bit difficult. You're going to have to keep track of that if you are doing multiple flyers at once. Also, if you are going to make an aerial reserves combat air patrol advanced reaction and intercept, it is deployed on the table. So it does not deploy anymore on a 3-up. If it had not yet hit the table, it would start off on your turn 1 coming in on a 4-up because it will have been returned to aerial reserves at least once. So that is also something to think about. Aerial reserves don't work the way regular reserves do. They're different. That's what I wanted to say was weird about how the reserves work.
Not the fact that one part of the book says that you have to come on, and another part of the book says you may choose to come on.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
You didn't want to. Huh?
I didn't want to cover that, Jack. But since you're touching on it, I'll let you cover that since you're the expert on things like that.
I personally. Well, first off, probably having me cover it as the wrong person because I'm salty Charlie. But page 222, once a model test has been passed, if for a model, the controlling player must assign a combat assignment before ending the reserve subphase and declare a combat assignment to the opposing player. Or page 242, if the reserve test is successful, then the active player may choose to either leave the unit that was selected in reserve or immediately bring it into play from reserve or aerial reserve. I personally believe that if you read from front to back, the rules build on each other. So I feel like 242 supersedes 226 just by numbers.
I get where you're coming from. I see the argument there, and while I'm not wanting to go too deep into the minutia, yes, technically you always have the option to choose to roll or not. So I'm not saying if you bring 5 flyers, then you don't want 4 of them to come on turn 1, that you have to roll. But it does say that starting on the first turn, you will have to roll for reserves,
right,
for your aerial reserves,
right. Which is I'm not arguing that part, because if the test is successful, the actor may choose not to. So you still have to roll, but you don't have to bring it on. But that still changes your bring on modifier.
No, because the bring on modifier says that it gets modified each time a model returns to aerial reserves after having been deployed. So if you make the roll, choose not to deploy,
242,
and then make the roll next turn, you don't modify your roll until you actually have deployed it to the table. writing rules for common sense is weird, and I think more people should embrace it, and less people should feed stuff into ChatGPT or Claude or your AI of choice to write rules. But that's just my opinion, and I'm not complaining because flyers have always been different ever since they first came out in 5th edition for Warhammer 40K, and flyers in Heresy are no different. They're still different. They still play weird.
They've never been balanced well. They've either been way too good or way bad.
Yep.
And right now, they're more on the bad side of the spectrum, but I think there are still advantages, one of which being your options to get rid of an enemy flyer are really, really hampered this edition. If you basically take a flyer, your odds are pretty good that nobody's going to be able to shoot it down. But at the same time, the effect that that flyer is going to have on the game is kind of debatable.
Yeah.
Realistically, I think the flyers that are going to do best right now are ones that are fully dependent on transportation capacity. Flying something on, dropping some dudes, or conversely, not flying them on, but using them to rapid react from one side of the table to another for re-embarkation, like they're basically a aircab helicopter pickup. That right now I think is the best place for them. I don't think using them for shooters is a great idea. I don't think using them for combat air patrol is a great idea. Using them to dynamically move rapidly from one spot on the field that's far away from whatever's going on to another spot on the opposite side of the board, I think is a good idea. Yes, it'll take you an extra turn to do it, and yes, you're contingent on, at that point, making a 3 or 4 up to do so. But realistically, sometimes games hang in the balance on things like that, and that can make a difference. That's also the only way I see myself using flyers right now if I were to be playing flyers. My main gripe, again, as I said, it isn't the flyers rules. It's the fact that I can't put something that I have put, like, for example, my Big K, my Charybdis that I have multiples of, that I have, for example, with my Sons of Horus. I can't leave that on the battlefield for people to go, man, that's a really cool model as they're walking by at an event and take pictures of, because it's not deployed to the battlefield to remain there.
Right.
And I don't get to show off the Chthonian butthole tattoo that I put on the iris of every single one of my flying drop pods. It kind of makes me feel kind of sad.
Well, I mean, like, same thing, especially the drop pods are in a weird case because it used to be the reason you were paying the extra points for the Dreadclaw and the Charybdis is so that they could pick stuff up and go someplace else.
Yep, scooting 12 to 18 inches across the table while still being on the table was a great thing. And
whereas,
now,
like, the normal one, it drops down and it's immobilized as soon as it drops. So, like, that's why you were paying all the extra points, and now they don't do
that. And like the flame lash you could throw out,
like
or the boatload of missiles you could throw out from the Big K. Yeah, they were things that you actually did, just like you referred to with the Thunderhawk.
Clear out the landing spot for the drop zone for the troops.
Exactly.
Provide cover for them disembarking, and they can't do that anymore. So
You're right.
Like, why pay the points for that? I'm kind of at the point with them where, like, you either need to be like full transport, not have any guns, almost like an Arvis, or like just be a fighter, basically, like they could attack ground stuff. You know, kind of like the Xiphon's kind of in between the two.
I get that.
I'm not, and a lot of the aircraft weapons aren't particularly strong, so a lot of them fall into that defensive weapon categories.
Some of them do, yeah. Most of the fighter style flyers have at least las cannons, or auto cannons.
They'll have a mix. I mean, they'll
have a blend of weaponry available. But I think the part that kind of really strikes me is I think why the flyers got done the way they did this edition.
Well,
almost as an afterthought.
If I had to
because
guess,
they're not available in plastic.
Well, along with several other things in this edition that seem to have gotten a nerf bat to them, I'm going to say apparently some of the designers didn't like playing against the previous editions.
Yeah, no, I mean that's something we've all made mention of before. Is some of these decisions don't make sense to us unless someone had unpleasant games against something,
Right.
and again, a game designer didn't like it. But my big takeaway right now is I think the reason flyers are so oddly done right now to where they're not really something you'll see a lot on the table and won't have a specific time on the table for a long period of time is because they're not currently produced in plastic and readily available in stores.
I agree
All
with
of
that.
them, all of them are available specifically through the website. They're mastery level kits. They're resin kits only for the most part.
Hell, there's 2 or 3 of them that are beyond mastery level. They're literally
Yep.
insanity level, like building. They're like
They're
the hardest
also-
kits you could pick.
Yeah, they are. And I think that's the biggest thing is other than the Arvis, you can't get them for the most part in a regular store. And I think until and unless that changes, we will not see real game deploying on the field rules that embrace a flyer roll in Heresy until that happens.
So I will
Which to
say,
me means that we're not likely to see them in plastic
Anytime.
this edition anytime soon.
well, I will say, I know most of us, I don't think anybody here plays 11th edition, correct? 40K? Brian?
None of the hosts, no.
So, other Brian, friend of the show, he's been playing a lot of 11th edition recently in events and stuff like that, and he was going over the flyer rules for 40K 11th edition, and it sounds like they took the 30K flyer rules and they've modified them a bit. So, like the current 3rd edition 30K flyer rules, I'm not going to say they're easier to use or they're more useful than they are in 30K, but it seems like they're kind of backing how hard they came down on the flyers a bit in 40K.
We'll say that. But for the most part, those models are also available in plastic
they're all in plastic.
in the stores.
Yeah. I mean,
These
like,
being
or
30K stuff being the specialized ones, they're not. So
Solar
I see where he's saying he's thinking that, and I honestly, I kind of agree.
Yeah.
Because it ties back in with my actual
No, you're.
observational point.
I mean, like, I'm trying to think of most of the major armies, and they all, for the most part, have plastic kits, or they have at least a plastic kit, if not 2 plastic kit flyers, and then they may have a couple that are also like hybrid kits that would be resin plastic.
And unfortunately, most of those hybrid kits and plastic kits do not equate over to 40K.
Correct.
Over to 30K.
30K,
You don't
yeah.
see Vendettas.
No.
They're not available. You don't
Vultures
see
and
Valkyries.
Vendettas, yeah.
Vultures. You don't see like the Storm Eagle or whatever the little GW 40K Marine flyer is called, or
Raven, Storm Raven.
that thing.
Yeah, the thing that we hate because it's the base for the Storm Eagle, which is an absolute nightmare of a kit to build.
Yeah, and every single one of those things,
The Black Star, another one.
or the Chaos Dragon.
Yeah,
They're not 30K, so
Yeah.
they're not really the focus of the rules. So I get it. I understand why flyers are in the state that they're in from my limited understanding. But I feel like it has been a great opportunity lost, because if they brought out the big K in plastic with corresponding pleasant rules for flyers, I see that being a huge hit. I see a lot of people buying that, both in 40K and in Heresy. And I see it appearing on a lot of tables just because, man, it's a big toy. We all love big toys.
Yeah. It's kind of weird though. Didn't the new Whirlwind have anti-aircraft missiles on it?
It does.
And then yeah,
So does the Arcus.
yeah. I mean, there's units that do have it. It's just kind of. I get what you're saying. It's kind of like, okay, well, artillery,
Why?
like, yeah, I mean, like, you have one artillery kit basically at this point because the others are all legendary or in the legends or.
Marine-wide, yeah.
So, yeah,
It's what it
IG is different, but yeah, or Solar Ox is different, but yeah.
It's kind of like, much like Sisters, they were given a cursory look over,
Yep.
a cursory bit of attention, and then kind of, okay, we've paid them a little bit of attention. Now let's focus on everything else.
Right.
And that's really where it feels like it is to me.
Well, like, right, I'd say they're even, if you're comparing Flyers to Sisters, I think Sisters are even in a worse position than Flyers as a standalone.
But it's a similar, I'm not saying they're in a good position. I'm saying they're in a similar position. There's something that exists. They were given a very cursory, basic look for the rules, and then they moved on.
I would agree.
In my opinion, the only issue with Flyers right now is their price.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I feel like realistically, if you want to look into the actual feel of how this will work, them just coming on and doing strafing runs, or actually landing and deploying troops, both make sense. I just feel like the actual point costs for them
far too high.
Are too high, with the exception of the Xiphon. Because at 120 points, it's
pretty cheap.
4 las cannon shots and then 3 rotary missile shots off the top of my head.
Yeah.
So even at a strafing run, because those are all AP2s, like you're eventually going to roll a hit. And then something that we didn't comment on is that in the errata on page 3, on the right-hand side, Flyer combat assignments, extended combat airspace. After turn 2, Flyers can come on from different board edges. They don't have to come on from your own board edges. So that's, with strafing runs, that's give you angles on side armors for different things.
Yeah.
Yes, I had not got to that. I had forgotten that was in there. But yes, they can come in anywhere after their first turn.
Rules lawyer Jack.
Thank you, Jack, for bringing that up. It does need to be mentioned.
I think not all Flyers are in a good spot, but I think certain Flyers are in a good spot. I think 120-point insurance, if you're always playing somebody that is bringing in a Charybdis or bringing in a Dreadclaw, is a well worth it. Or somebody that is deploying a Death Star via Cestus Assault Ram. 120 points insurance that you get a chance to bring it down before it touches you in your no body spot, naughty spot, because you get to shoot at it before it deployed to troops. I think that's a well worth it.
I will say, if you are doing the reaction, the one funny thing about that is, say you're intercepting with the Xiphon, you only intercept with one gun, with one shooting attack. So you would not choose to fire the last cannons because they're each different separate weapons. You would choose to fire your rotary missile launchers. That's the 3 shots. And just pretend you actually blew the Flyer up, despite the fact that that's going to be very hard to actually get to function because you have to glance or penetrate with all your shots, hit with all your shots, and then beat their whole point total. But if you do successfully shoot down a Flyer who's bringing in troops, the rules for guys who are falling out of the sky is kind of odd. If they then have to make an emergency disembarkation from the Flyer being shot down, you have to roll a die for each model. On a 1, the model suffers a wound with an AP of 2 and a damage characteristic of 2. No cover saves or damage mitigation rolls may be made. Vulnerable saves may still be made. So, dudes fall out of the sky. If they're shot down, you roll a 1, you take 2 wounds, AP2. Yeah, okay, I get it. But I think it would be a 1 in 6 chance for them falling out of the sky, I think, is a bit small. And a bit not much of a payoff, if that makes any sense.
It kind of makes sense for Marines fall out of a plane to survive, but not so much for Solar Ox or Militia.
Yeah.
So your Solar Ox fall out of the Arvis, and 1 out of 6 of them is going to take a wound and be killed.
You would think it would be higher, but
you'd think it would be higher. That is my opinion. Obviously, the game is built towards Marine-centric gameplay because that's what sells for GW. We understand.
You would think also there might be some sort of mitigation if they had jump packs or something like that too.
Again, cursory
Maybe I'm reading
rules for
just too
flyers,
far
not
into the
real.
rules.
I
but-
think we are. I think that the rules for flyers are cursory done
Yeah.
and need additional attention. But it's what it is.
Hey, there's a potential for a journal right there called AI or
Dogfighting 101.
They did that in 6th edition at the tail end, I think.
I think so, because in 5th edition was when you
because-
could actually put templates on flyers.
Because that
Yep.
was when we got the Storm Guppy, because the Storm Eagle was already out, so we got the Storm Guppy and something else.
Oh, that weird ass rule set where you could play a whole other flyer game.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
With the AI basically in 40K scale.
I got it.
Yeah.
It'll be an Istvan 5 Journal 3.
Part 1.
Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. Part 3 of Journal 5 is on 17
What
and 11.
is the armor of a Charybdis?
I think it's
12.
12?
It's all the way, yeah, but
Tw-
yeah, I think the only flyer that has weird armor on it was the assault ram got a buff. I thought.
Okay. So 12.
Most flyers are 12s or 11s.
Okay.
I think the Xiphon's in 11. I
Yeah,
could be
Siphon's
wrong.
11, yeah.
It's
I
11.
think the Arvis is either 10 or 11.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway. There's flyers.
Mhm.
Now, if you're playing 5 or 6 flyers in a single mission, I think you're on the extreme end of embracing the flying rules, and I support that. I also think it would be hilarious to see someone bring on 5 Xiphons.
1, 2, 3,
On-
4, 5. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, anyway, I think it'd be hilarious to see someone do a full air mobile flyer army sometime. I
John,
think it would be.
Polar
yeah,
Rock. There you
I'm
go,
looking,
man.
I'm looking at Jack. I'm looking straight at
Jack,
Jack.
you don't have hair on your butthole if you don't run 5 Xiphons.
All right,
See,
that's in my
now
4,000 point list.
This right here is why I want to cuss Duncan out, because he poo-pooed on my god dang drop pod idea.
I still do. And I'm going to keep poo-pooing on your drop pod idea because your drop pod idea, per rules as written right now,
Makes
doesn't work
sense.
the way doesn't work the way it should. But flyers somehow, and Colonel Kilgore playing Ride of the Valkyries does. So I can't explain that.
I disagree.
Now, do I think that drop pods should work the same way and you should be able to bring all your pods on? Yeah, I sure do. I think pod assault should be back the way it was in 1st edition.
Yeah,
I think that underground assault should be back the way it was in 1st edition.
that was fun where you push stuff out of the way when they come up.
Yep, I think those things should also function the same way. I think the flyers should also function that same way. So that's just my opinion. This has been Duncan with an opinion about how reserves were better in the old days. Pepperidge Farm remembers,
Pepperidge
and I'm
Farm.
old. Look at the gray in my beard, okay? It happens.
Make
I'm
drop
old.
pods great again. I'm
Make
here
drop
for it.
pods great again. I mean, I have hopes that some of this will change with, because y'all just went over the ZM stuff, and there was modifications to the rule set for ZM.
There are. You're right. So it does
my
leave the
hope is that
possibility of them
some this
changing
may-
it in future journals.
Yeah, some of this will be addressed in future journals. Maybe like as I said, an AI for aerial battles, or reserves. Another one for reserves, like drop pods, like Istvan or what. Like the second book for Istvan or whatever.
Yes, I would love to see more rules for the pods. I'd love to see more rules for flyers. And again, as we have mentioned time and again when they put out the books, the little journals, using them to expand on the actual rule base is a great idea and a great way of doing it. If they were to then adjust the way pods work in a future journal, I'd be all for it. If they adjust the way flyers work, again, all for it.
Who's going to put money on this against me that when they inevitably change pods, if they do it this edition, it's going to be exactly what I thought we should do with just making that detachment with special rules where the stuff in that detachment comes on turn 1.
I have a coin right here that I will put up against it, against your thing, that it will not. This is a very special coin. I cannot say where I got it, but it is one of the the Lodge coins from the Sons of Horus. So, or should I say the Luna Wolf Lodge coins.
Didn't you
Luna
have
Wolf.
to
Put that
sell
up
off
again.
a guy behind Decepticon for that?
No, I got it from the Scabbard when they dropped second edition, and you and I both got one for free.
Duncan, I
have
have
one?
one of those coins, and I will
You have
bet
one.
that against your coin. So if it does happen, and one of us is right and one is wrong, we can do the swap.
Agreed. I think that's actually how you're supposed to do the swap, is so that you acknowledge other legions and friendship and traitorism. I don't know. It's been a while since I read the first 3 books, and I need to.
This one will be out of spite.
That's fair. So that's Flyers. Jack, how many Xiphons do you own?
I like to plead the fifth on this right now.
Okay, I own 0. I do, however, own 3 Lightnings.
I have 2 Avengers, and I have Thunderhawk, and I have 2 Night Lords.
I'm not talking about the other Flyers that I have, like my 3 Big Ks and my 3 Ambulances.
No. I legitimately have 2. I have 2 Night Lords Xiphans. I have a Dark Angel Thunderhawk, and then they were supposed to be allied Avengers for
Jack,
Dark Angels.
Blink twice if your wife is in the room and you are under duress.
But in theory, I have as many as I want because I have the
That's
bird
fair.
sitting in the background.
I will say this. One of my favorite models that Games Workshop, Forge World, whoever they are, have ever put out is the Thunderbolt. I love everything about that model. It looks... It just tickles my tism in the back of my head and makes me go, yes, you want this model. I will have no use for this model in the current edition. I will have no use for this model in the previous 2 editions. But I love the model, and I want the model, and I will end up owning it.
Have you looked at the Avenger?
Yes, I have. I don't like the Avenger that much.
It's like the bastard love child of an A10 Thunderbolt and a Stuka.
I know.
How
and
could
I
you
don't
not
like
go
it.
wrong with that?
I don't like it. It just doesn't tickle my tism. The
I'm sorry. I
Thunderbolt,
think it's of the Flyers for me. That's probably the best one other than the Xiphon.
that's fair. Like I said, the Thunderbolt, it just makes me go, this is a P-47 in sci-fi, and I love the P-47.
And like on the Lightnings, I like the original small Lightning compared to the Voss, the new one. I don't like the new one.
I'll agree there. The 3 Lightnings I do own that I have never assembled beyond the first one, they are original Lightnings. They're not the Voss. So
Yeah, the Voss, I just don't like it at all.
You guys heard it here first. Duncan likes jugs. The old P-47.
I do. I love the old P-47. There's something about 850 caliber machine guns and a radial air-cooled V whatever 12 or 20 or 16 that
It's like a V. Yeah, it's like a V.
just bounces bullets off of it because it's armored in ridiculous ways as a plane. Just
The thing is fucking huge.
it is. And the model, comparatively to other models for 40K,
It's pretty
or
big.
30K,
It's
also huge.
Yeah, I have a Thunderbolt. It's a big model.
Yeah, I love it. And I think that models like that should be embraced because they are centerpiece for a whole army that make stuff look really awesome when you're putting them on a field. And that's what I miss about Flyers right now, most of all.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't see them on the table after their action phase. So there's Flyers. All done.
I mean,
What's
in
next
theory,
week?
with Flyers, you could say, I'm using a Storm Eagle and not actually even have it on the table. You just have a base.
Yep.
And not even own the Storm Eagle. You're just like, oh yeah, I'm flying in, dropping off, and
that is something I actually have made observational comment to other people, because other people have told me that they don't want to bring their Flyer. They're just going to bring the base and say, "Hey, this is my Lightning."
You gotta bring the model.
I agree.
You gotta play.
You
You gotta
absolutely
pay
should
play.
bring the model.
right. I mean, if you're gonna do that, well, this is my paper dreadnought or whatever.
Agreed. I have told people I don't support that, and I think it's stupid, and I would not choose to play them if they tried to do that.
Now I really want to troll Duncan with my Aeronautica Imperialis Marauder bombers.
You put that on a regular Marauder flight base, I will personally slap you.
Marauders don't even have. I didn't think they had a base. The original ones, they were like
Marauder Colossus, Brian. It drops a nuke.
Yeah, I thought it was a big firebomb. but yeah.
Next Adepticon, I accept this, but if you slap me, we have to get it on recording so that we can put it on like a special podcast episode.
Deal. Sold.
Mutual combat laws.
Jack can post it on our YouTube channel as Duncan slaps Brian for being a jackass.
I'm okay
deserve
with
it.
that.
I want John to do his Marauder recon thing, where it takes pictures over the battlefield.
Yeah,
I do like that.
I bought a Marauder, and I'll be honest, it reminds me too much of the Mastodon, except
I was
longer.
gonna say I've built Marauders. They weren't for me, and like the guy I built them for, where he's just like, yeah, just use hot glue because I know it's gonna get knocked off its stand and fall.
Oh my god!
So like, and like we literally used hot glue to put it together because we knew it was gonna fall apart when it hit the floor, and so it was easy to repair. But
Yeah,
Well-
I'm probably gonna redo the idea with the Mordian bomber and
Okay.
fighter jet with
Yeah,
the AWACS and things like that.
one of
Just do it
one of the members in the Discord has done one of those.
I know
Yeah,
at
that's
least
Andrew.
a couple of us know Austin. His
Yep.
Marauder, his Thunderhawk gunship got knocked over at an Adepticon event and shattered into a million pieces.
I have my Thunderhawk and its what is it? Battle Foam Pack Max that I have for it has broken multiple times just from being transported, even in the Pack Max, and I've pinned it. So like I've gotten very good at repairing them. I know exactly where it's always the wings break off the engine nacelles.
Well,
I mean-
folks, there's flyers, and we gave them exactly as much time as they needed.
A show.
The show, because they're flyers.
I mean,
Well,
like they're not in a horrible spot, but they're not in a great spot. I mean,
They're in a weird spot.
it's
they
a
are
weird,
a spot. So, event shout-outs. November 12th, November 2nd through November 6th is the Nova Open over in DC area. Heresy stuff there is run by our friend Ben March. Hi, Ben. I hope you're listening. Go there. Show Ben some love. He's a cool dude. He's got cool events that he's running there.
He's been making tons of awesome terrain recently.
Ben is also a guy who shows up at Adepticon, so if you ever get to go to Adepticon, we hope you do. You get to hang out with us. You're probably going to meet Ben and hang out with Ben as well, because he's also a cool dude. He's part of the extended family, and we love him.
Yep.
Anybody else?
Skinny, hairy guy.
Yeah. That describes a lot of people.
In the 30K community, we don't have a lot of skinny, hairy guys.
Well, you do have a bunch of bald, fat guys. Like,
And hairy, bald, fat guys.
yeah, okay. I try to shave most of this area. The rest
Look,
of it. so
I
much.
don't shave this. I just let this grow wild. If I feel like sculpting it, I'm probably in court. So,
Well, I have to go in the clean room, so I have to.
That's fair.
It's not necessarily a lifestyle choice for me.
I know. Another event shout out will be Bolters at Dawn holding BolterCon up in Cincinnati, Ohio, at the Westchester Holiday Inn Event Center. That is November 12th through the 15th of 2026. They have Heresy events there. We're sponsoring it. We're sending posters up there. Maybe some other stuff. You might even see some of the actual Heresy Accountabilibuddies people there. You might see us there. You might see others from around the community. You never know. It's supposed to be a good time, a fun time. Throw them some love. There's announcements about that you can find in our upcoming events channel on our Discord. Anybody else got events coming up they need to shout out?
August
got the-
15th and 16th in Grand Rapids at Far Harbor Games. There's a 2-day narrative. I still don't have definite details on it, but I know that event's going to happen, so keep your eyes out.
Cool.
As well as October 10th and 11th in Lansing, Michigan at Evolution Games. I haven't made an event posting for that yet, but that's for sure happening too.
Awesome. John?
We're still working on our August and September events, so be a little bit for that.
All right. Jack, you have anything to shout out events-wise?
Negative, Ghost Rider.
All right. Well, the last thing I want to shout out is us. We are still holding the 2026 Army Challenge. We're in round 4 right now. Round 4, for those who have not remembered, you can access information about this on our Discord. It is, you have to paint 500 points of a new army or new to you army. That will end up totaling 3,000 points at the end of the year. If you have missed out on the first parts, that's fine. You can still jump in right now and paint 500 points. This is running from, I believe, the beginning. Yeah, it's running from July the 5th, 2026 through September 5th of 2026. Our giveaway that we will be giving out at the end of it for one lucky contestant who has entered the drawing and completed their selection and posted pictures of such in our Discord channel will be the most recent combat army group of the Mark IV stuff, with the Sakaran, the Contemptor, and the 10 Bolter Tactical Marines and the 10 Assault Marines. So that is what we're giving away for the person who wins that contest. That runs, like I said, through September 5th. Our drawing will be held on September 9th on that one, live on the cast. Or on the 6th, sorry. Any other contests that we're currently involved in or running, John, that you know of?
2-week hobby challenge is still going on right now.
Cool.
It currently ends. We've got one that's going on. We just started. The next leg goes from July 18th till August the 1st, and drawing will be done on August 5th, or the recording after that.
Sounds good to me. And as always, every week we have our hobby hangout on Wednesday nights in the Discord. If you do not know where to find our Discord, you can find us at heresypodcast.com or on Facebook. Just look up the Heresy Accountabilibuddies Podcast. You can find us there. And I don't think I've got anything else to say, so I'm going to shut up now.
About time.
Yay. Jamie, why don't you tell Jack to tell John to call it a night?
It's that same bat channel, bat time.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this, the 178th episode of the Heresy Accountabilibuddies. I didn't talk a lot because I broke my USB dongle that goes to my headset, so I was getting a bit of echo in there, so you may have heard that a little bit. But I'd like to thank my co-hosts of
Canadian Brian.
Kentucky Duncan.
Did this episode put us ahead of RFI?
Yes. Officially as of tonight, we are 178. We are ahead of RFI.
Knocking them down.
Passing them around?
Here's to you, RFI. We miss you.
We miss you guys.
There was also a Jack and a Jamie that joined us tonight.
There were.
Allegedly.
Always remember to stay accountable to yourselves, to your buddies, and your hobby. And we'll talk to you next time.
Bear says bye too.
Bear says bye.
Apparently.
Oh, stop.
There you go.
Like and subscribe and see ya.